How you doing? Hey, you got a minute? I want to tell you about a real interesting story that happened to me pretty recently. You see, I'm a simple guy. I love things like a good old style, Chicago Bears Victory Monday, and of course, Italian beefs. So this particular Italian beef stand I visited on my normal Monday lunch provided me with a surprise I was not expecting. My name is Tom Skibinski Jr., and this is the story of Aunt Bernice and the Italian beef stand. So there's one day I walk up to this Italian beef stand, one I'd never visited before. The pictures on the side of the thing looked real good, so I'm like, give it a shot. I'm a hungry guy, so I ordered my normal 200 Italian beefs. Don't judge me. Like I always do, I always look for somebody there that can help me eat all of them. So I actually recruited these two guys that ended up being brothers. One guy was named Matt, and one guy's name was Bill. They were happy to oblige in helping me eat all of these delicious lunchtime treats. So we sat at a picnic table and waited for our lunch. So this other guy walks up with like 200 Italian beefs, which is what I ordered, so the order was correct. Order accuracy is very important. And so I look at Matt to my right and Bill to my left, and I said, okay boys, let's do this. So we immediately start eating all these Italian beefs because we knew it would be a real good time. But I looked over at the other guy who brought our Italian beefs to us, and he was talking to this older lady that was working behind the line inside of the Italian beef stand. She looked real concerned, and so did he. Just then, this guy puts on a super sweet Brian Urlacher jersey and a real nice pair of Chicago Bears sweatpants. I mean like Walgreens nice. And hops into this beautiful 1986 Buick LeSabre and heads out God knows where. Just then, Bill gets a text on his Nokia phone and says he's going to the local Jewel-Osco to get more meats for the stand. So she let out a sigh so big that it could knock down the Sears Tower. It's the Sears Tower, not the Willis Tower. So we're eating these Italian beefs. 10 minutes go by and this guy returns in his super fancy car holding about 10 Jewel-Osco bags filled with enough steak to feed a bunch of Chicago Bears fans before a Packers game. Go Bears. He then immediately started helping the older lady make all of these Italian beefs for the numerous customers that were waiting, but they looked like they were struggling. They definitely needed help. And I thought I could because I know a butcher, but I was too busy eating all of these delicious sandwiches with Matt and Bill that I could not help. Just then, a big maroon Chevrolet Astro van pulls up. I knew exactly whose car that was, and I knew exactly who was driving. Bill looks over at the guy and says, hey dude, what gives? And I look at both of them and say, what is my dad doing here? My dad gets out of his car, walks over to this lady, and puts on an apron. He then calls me over and says, hey son, I need you to meet somebody. This is Bernice, my sister, Bernice. My eyes immediately welled up with tears, something that hasn't occurred since the events that transpired in the Louisiana Superdome on January 26th, 1986. This woman, as I now understand, is my aunt, and the two guys that I was eating these Italian beefs with were my cousins. How crazy is that? She then proceeded to tell us a story about how she inherited the Italian beef stand after our father died from a heart attack watching Peyton Manning steal a Super Bowl from us. My dad was super jealous, so he got a job at the local Jewel-Osco and started working his way through the ranks to become one of the best butchers in the entire Chicagoland area. But he took it a little bit more seriously than most people would. He put all of his time and effort into being the best butcher that it affected his abilities to be a good husband and a good father. But through all of that, it was super clear that they wanted to bury the hatchet. So Bernice looks at Tom, my dad, and says, hey, I've got an idea that I think will be real good. And boy, was it ever a real good idea. Today, there are 4 locations in the greater Chicagoland area of Aunt Bernice's world-famous Italian beefs. Bernice took the reins as CEO. She made my dad chief financial officer, and he's also head chef. Me, my cousin Bill, my cousin Matt, and my other cousin each run a stand. We all work together to ensure that the good people of Chicago are provided with the highest quality Italian beefs, but the best part about it, we get to do it as a family. So remember, the next time that you go to an Italian beef stand and order too many Italian beefs because your eyes are bigger than your stomach, don't bogart the whole thing. Instead, invite a friend or a family or a random stranger to help you eat all of these delicious sandwiches. You never know who they could end up beating. Thanks for taking the time to listen to the story about my highly successful aunt. And the next time you're in Chicago, be sure to stop by the stand and grab yourself an Italian beef. And bring your friends and family. Because what's better than an Italian beef? Not much, but there is one thing. An Italian beef enjoyed with friends and family. Have a great day, and remember, go Bears.